Hello and welcome to India Today. I am Sanjay Ponnappa.
And this is Maruti Acharya. We just completed watching the most anticipated film of 2025, that is Kannappa. Before getting into further details, public reaction is out. Do check that out as well. We'll put the link in the comment section. Sanjay, your one-line experience of watching Kannappa.
So for me, the film works in parts, especially the devotion part of it. If you are somebody who really admires Lord Shiva, it might work well for you in portions. There are some technical departments that really good job, but when you overall think about it, cinematically, this film I felt like is a letdown.
My experience of watching the film is the last 20 to 30 minutes is really worth watching on big screen. That much I can definitely assure you. But the lead up to that portion, is it really interesting? Absolutely not. It will test your patience. At least it tested my patience. The attempt is honest, but is it a very good storytelling of the historic figure Kannappa? I don't think so. Sanjay, first, what worked for you in the film?
For me, the music in the film just worked amazingly.
Agreed.
Background music by Stephen. Throughout the film, the background music is really good. It brings your attention to the screen.
Correct.
There are a couple of songs. Out of all of them, there are these devotional songs that just works magic. It takes you to a place, a very devotional and a very spiritual place for
Agreed.
sure. And those for me were the best parts in the film.
I totally agree, because if you take Telugu cinema, for example, there is Annamaya, there is Ramadasu, there is Sri Manjunatha, which is also in Kannada, and these kind of stories and whole mythological, historical films. This is more of nostalgia also, and I actually want our generation and the upcoming generation, the next generation, to know these kind of stories. So there's an emotional value also attached to the story. With the music, with the devotional songs, the movie definitely satisfies and in fact makes you feel emotionally rooted. And second thing that really worked for me is natural locations. As the southern part of India where the story is actually happened. Now the New Zealand locations, yes, they look scenic, but it took some time for me to settle in and start believing in the world. So it took some time, but the natural visuals, landscapes, that really helped in the visual quality of the film.
I felt like the visuals were so good that you could see when there is patchwork scenes happening and when
Correct.
it is the real locations. You could make out the difference there, and you can see the kind of involvement shown towards the film by the makers, including Vishnu Manchu, to give it something.
Correct.
You can see the efforts put in. You can see
There's an
all
honesty.
all the money invested. There is an honesty, and at the end of the day, this is in a way reintroduction to the story of Kannappa,
Kannappa,
especially to the modern audience. We were the last generation, at least not, if not in the theaters, in the TV. We
Yeah.
used to watch all these things while growing up. The efforts are visible.
Also, performances are also really good. Mohan Babu got
That entry is just amazing.
Yeah, I am telling you, right? See, we will talk about Prabhas. It is a beautiful performance. I should give the 25 minutes of Prabhas is amazing, but I personally felt like that is something that we expected that it's gonna blow up. Mohan Babu sir is a phenomenal actor with such a beautiful dialogue delivery and screen presence, and he has actually less screen time. But the scenes that he is in are beautiful, and the emotional weight that the story needs, right? I personally feel it is Mohan Babu's character that really got that strength and weight to the film. All the other performances also, like Akshay Kumar, Mohanlal, and Prabhas.
About Mohan Babu first, I just loved the entry because you can see the experience in in the way he just on screen, whatever he did, you can see that experience.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. Cameos: Prabhas, Mohanlal, and Akshay Kumar. So with Darling Prabhas, he played sort of a darling character with rebel vibes.
Agreed.
Right. So the whole introduction as Rudra, it just brought so much more into the film. Until then, it kind of carried this flat sense, but as soon as Prabhas came, it became more dynamic, and
Correct.
the story started picking up.
Yeah.
And to invest his time into it while he has so many films in the pipeline and
Correct.
everybody is waiting for his dates, it is commendable.
Talking about the things that didn't work in the film, the first thing that really didn't work for me in the film is inconsistency in terms of story, screenplay, and direction. Let me give you an example. The first half, the introductions are high, good, it is a nice setup, it is going nice, and suddenly till the interval, the film totally loses its track. You're clueless where it is going, what is happening. There are so many random plot points involved, and the romantic track is such a drag in the film. Even in the second half, they extended because if there is a conflict between the characters, right, there is some resolving that you're anticipating, then it makes sense. But here from the first scene itself, it is established that emotionally involved with each other. Then why so much duration for those romantic scenes is a very big question. So these kind of inconsistencies of what is required and what is not, what should come when and what shouldn't come when, these kind of screenplay choices and inconsistencies, I feel, are the biggest drawback of the film.
Yes, I totally agree. I feel like screenplay is the biggest
Villain.
letdown in the film because at the end of the day, the place where the climax, where it culminates, is all about devotion.
Correct.
So, but in the first half, that whole build up towards our main character
Correct.
going towards that path is absolutely none.
Yeah.
You get to see here and there some portions of Akshay Kumar and Kajal Aggarwal as Shiv Parvati and
Correct.
them speaking about him, but here there is absolutely no action being taken towards him
Correct.
being dragged towards becoming a Shiv Bhakt, and that I feel like is the biggest drawback because the first half and the second half is totally different. To be more blunt, it felt like a waste of time. Instead, all that time could have been invested towards building and making the end section even more bigger. Vishnu Manchu also didn't really captivate me
Okay.
as a performer as Tinna at the start. Apart from the action sequences where I felt like he really did a good job, you can see him putting in the effort and
Correct.
choreography and all of it. But apart from it, this film is a lot more than the action it presents. Right?
Yes.
It is an emotional film. I didn't really connect with him emotionally. Also, side take. Preity Mukundhan we didn't mention, but I really felt like she did a good job.
Yeah.
That is a name that we can look out for.
I totally agree with what Sanjay said, especially with Manchu Vishnu's performance. But I mostly had the problem with dialogue delivery. I feel like the dialogue delivery especially didn't land for me in most of the portions. The pauses that he took, it's mostly with the dialogue delivery. I think, again, this is my analysis, is why the performance didn't reach up to the expectations. Overall, the performance didn't land for me that much. Editing and direction, some shot design and the scenes. There is this one emotional and impactful scene. I don't want to give spoilers, but there is that very typical serial shot that you talk about, right? One close-up and then there is one circle shot and then another close-up. So the staging, blocking and the direction of the film feels very serial kind of presentation, very TV kind of presentation, not a very strong, impactful, big screen theatrical version. The whole film, which is close to 3 hour 10 minutes, I personally feel they could have trimmed it to 2 hour 20 minutes, 2 hour 30 minutes.
Film had all the right
Yeah.
ingredients. Didn't land because of all the extras that were in the screenplay and the director went with.
Creating that spiritual devotion feeling in you. So in terms of that lens, the last 30 minutes really works and is worth your time. Overall, cinematically, if you feel, or considering the stories of Kannappa that were already made, and if you compare it, it might disappoint you.
However, if you watched the trailer and you felt like, I want to watch this film, if you are fans of any of the actors, including the cameos that is happening, do go to the theaters and give it a watch if you had thought, okay, I want to watch it.
Before ending the video, not just watching, you should come back and mention your opinions also in the comments below, because we do read all the comments. We want to also understand what people are thinking about the film to have a common sense of understanding. So don't forget to mention your reviews also in the comments below.
With that, I am Sanjay Kannappa
And this is Maruti Acharya.
and you're watching India Today.